Here is a diagram of the male reproductive mechanism. The external glands, or testes, produce the spermatozoa, or sex cells, which are necessary for human reproduction.
When they said we were gonna do sex ed, I felt like it was gonna be awkward, so I got nervous.
I was not really nervous. I was just not really looking forward to it. I was a little bit, but then I got into it, and then it was pretty interesting, to say the least.
Usually they're giggling or they're super quiet and intimidated. And by the time I leave, sometimes it's totally different, where they're super comfortable, they have a lot of fun playing the review games, they're saying words out loud that at the beginning I couldn't get them to say for the life of me. And so usually it's a big difference, yeah.
At the end, it all felt great. It was like all calm and normal to talk about the questions you had and all the things about the topic.
So my role, if it's just like on paper, I'm a health education specialist, but I feel like we do a lot more than that. We want to give students these skills by practicing communication, because we want them to be able to vocalize their thoughts and emotions. Before, it used to be just about body parts. It used to be about, this is the body parts, this is what happens when you're growing. But it's a lot more than just biology. It's about kids finding their voice.
Dad?
Yes?
Where do babies come from anyhow?
Why, mothers bring them into the world.
But why do mothers bring them?
Johnny, by the grace of heaven, mothers are the only ones who know how to bring babies into the world.
You know, kids are going to find a way to get the information that they need, but you know what's on the internet these days. You don't want them going there to look for answers to these things, because there's a lot of stuff there. You know, with something as important as sex and puberty, you really want the answers to be coming from you, because you want to impart not only factual information, but also your values around this to your kids. One of the things that Health Connected emphasizes that I really agree with is that it should be an ongoing conversation, and it should be led by questions and teachable moments rather than sort of one big talk.
Sorry. Mom, leave me alone.
When my mom said I was going to a puberty talk, I was kind of nervous. It was just something I just didn't really want to talk about.
I think it's really important for our children to understand that they have a say over what happens to them in any setting. So teaching children to feel empowered about what happens and the decisions they make and what happens to their body, I think is really important. I learned about Health Connected through a parent ed series that was offered through our school district. I honestly was blown away. I was so impressed. Yeah, I've gone over the birds and the bees, and this is what happens, and this is how a baby is made, and so on and so forth. But when you come home from a class from Health Connected, there's just a lot of rich, meaningful conversation that occurs. Health Connected gives parents the tools and the language to have a really open and honest discussion where you're not embarrassed. I wouldn't have necessarily felt comfortable talking about wet dreams, and Health Connected taught me to do that in a very, comfortable way with my son.
You agree, Ryan?
Mm-hmm. Oh.
As in most towns, people go about their daily activities with a feeling of confidence. Confidence in their businesses. Confidence in their schools. A confidence in the general well-being and health of their community.
I've actually been a member of our community since I've been a kindergartner. I've actually been a student in our district, and I've taught in our district since 1997. I want all kids to be able to learn about information that is medically accurate, that's inclusive of all of our diverse groups within the community. Our district had to pilot 2 different programs, and when we came together as a committee, it was a unanimous decision to go with Health Connected's programs. Part of my role as a leader in this process was to make sure that we were bringing about the change that was needed, to make sure that we were being inclusive of all of our students within our community so that it can have a powerful and positive impact on their lives and their future. It's an ongoing process, and I know that we're making incremental steps, but I'm a runner, a distance runner. You know what? I'm not super fast, but I can keep going for miles and miles and miles. Not the first one across the finish line at the marathon, but I always finish.
I came into contact with Health Connected through Irvine Unified School District. They are in the process of recreating and reestablishing their education courses, sex education, and had heard that they were doing this and wanted to go and support the program and support the idea of educating our teens, making sure that our students have that opportunity to be in a safe environment and a well-educated environment where they can express who they are and what they're thinking and what they're struggling with and what they're wrestling with. And so we have to be having the conversation. And having that conversation sometimes is uncomfortable, and it's okay. It's okay to be uncomfortable sometimes. What we can do as community members is be there for them. Most important of all, love our teens. Love your children, no matter who they are. Love them for who they are.